Have you been wanting to add new maps in your Pokemon ROM hack? In this video, I'll show you exactly how to do it step by step. Whether you're adding new buildings to existing towns, or even adding a new town or route, you'll learn how to add maps with ease. If you're enjoying these tutorials, be sure to like the video, subscribe for more ROM hacking tips and Pokemon Centennial updates, and leave a comment below if there's a tutorial you'd like to see next. Let's get started. To start with this video, we're just going to start by adding a new indoor map to the Little Root town. I've added just kind of this generic house that we can make a little map. We don't have to put anything inside the house. It can just be an empty house for now. But at least this will show us how we can do, or how we can implement and add a new map that's under an existing map section. So this will still be within Little Root town. If you look on the left here, this right now is sorted by groups. So you see all the towns and routes is all there. And then there's all the indoor Little Root maps. So there's the player's house, the professor's lab, the other houses. So we're going to probably want to add to this indoor Little Root. What you can look at, I'm just going to close all of them up. Just this minus button closes all the groups up here. So you can see there's a bunch of different groups, different types of maps. You can also sort by area. So here we can see, okay, these are all that are under the MAPSEC Little Root town. So under the Little Root town map section. So we'll basically be adding to this maps section as well. And then you can also sort by layout. This one you can see we're in the Little Root town layout. It's nice and cool. Most of these just have one layout here. There's nothing too crazy until you get down to this House 1 layout. If we open that up, you can see there's the Oldale House 1. I'll move this over so we can see the full names. Cosmos House in Fall Arbor, Verdant Turf Town, Petalburg City House 1. So these are all with kind of the House 1 layouts. There's House 2 layouts. The big one here is there's this Pokemon Center layout. So if you're adding a new Pokemon Center to a new town, you can add it under this layout group, and then it'll know it's a Pokemon Center, one floor. So you can see they kind of all look the same, but they might have different events, different people in there. But we will go back up to sorting by group. I'm going to close this. I want to go back to my Little Root town so we can see where we want to be. We're just under our map. I'm going to shrink this down again so we can see more in the map field. But to add a new map in Little Root town, so we want to add a new map for this little house, we can actually close up the towns and routes because we're not adding a new town or route. We're going to add a new map to the map group indoor Little Root. To this, we go here. We'd get on this folder thing and right click, and then we do add a new map to the group. This is going to be our new map name, and you kind of want it to follow these conventions. So this will be Little Root town, and I want it to be, I'll just put it as House 3. The group that you're going to be in is this map group indoor Little Root. This is where you can change the size of the map. I'm going to keep it at this 14 by 10 actually. I don't like the odd numbers with the way doors work in Pokemon Emerald. But the primary tile set is going to be a building. The secondary tile set, I'm just going to say it's Petalburg. You can change this later. The map type, you can change it to a bunch of these. I'm going to just say it's indoor. You can change that later. The map section, we want it to be in Little Root town. And the music can be kind of whatever. I'm going to actually copy paste this. I'm going to X out of this. We're going to go into here and say, okay, what's here? This one, the weather's none. The map type's indoor, and battle scene's that. The song is Music Little Root. So I'll go back to my map. I'm going to go to add a new map group again. We're going to do the town, 14 by 10, indoor Little Root. It's a building, indoor, and the music is going to be Little Root. There we go. So Music Little Root. Can we fly to? I'm not going to check here. The name, the map group, and the can fly are the only ones that cannot be changed later. So these are set when you create this new and when you hit accept. I don't want to fly to this. I don't want this one to show the location when we pop up. I don't really care for that. Allowing running in the new Poke Emerald, you can run inside with stuff. This doesn't matter as much. Allow biking, allow dig and escape. I don't really want to allow those in these maps. And other maps you might want to. But these are kind of all set like this. I don't really care too much about it, but we can go ahead and see and click accept. We have a new map created. The border is these tiles, the kind of pink. This is the Petalburg one, so we actually don't want this. We want to go to, let's just see what this Brendan and May one looks like. Oh, it's called Brendan May's house. So let's just search up, and we should be able to see Brendan May's house. So here we want to do, let's just make this back wall all like this. The floor, we want a little shadow from up top and a full shadow on the side. But then there's this one that I don't care about, and we can make it full. So if we take off the grid, you can see random house. This one I actually want to put all the way up top because that makes a corner. But you can see this is set here. We're just going to save it. And then my background, I just want to be this all black. Kind of just looks like a random house. This one, looks a little weird. Maybe I should have done, that's an edge, so maybe where was a middle? I don't know. The walls are a little funky. You can mess around with tiles. This looks like a middle tile. So let's just, there we go. Mapped it all the way out. Maybe this is an end, so we put an end piece right there so you can see an end of a thing. I don't want that there. So we're just going to keep it like this. I'm going to actually go back to, this one's a left end, it should be. And there we go. So now we kind of have a house. It's wrapped in. I really don't like how that looks. I'm just going to copy, add it here. This one's good. These tiles have special warp tiles that'll let you exit the door, so I'm going to enter that. Kind of just place it in the middle there. And I don't know, let's just put a table here. I'm just going to actually copy this whole thing right here. Cool, make a table. And where's the top of a rug? This looks like a random top of a rug. Oop, that's a corner. So I'm going to zoom in. Here's a corner. Here's a left corner. This looks like just the top of here. So that's cool. We have this. Now I'm going to work on my collisions. I don't want us to walk on the wall. So we're just going to make that there. And I don't want us to walk on the table. Here's a basic map. Now we made this map. What we'll need to do now to be able to get to this map is set up some warp tiles. If we go back to our little root town, I'm going to zoom out a little bit here. If we go to events, you can see tiles on the door are warp tiles. They have different warp IDs here. We're going to want to add one to this door. So I'm going to put a new warp. This is warp ID 3. We'll have to remember that. And we want it to go to Little Root Town. And it's going to be this house 3 into destination warp 0. We'll save our Little Root Town. I'm going to click into this warp, and it'll actually bring us to this map. But we don't have any warps. We can't go back out. So I'm going to do a new warp. This is my 0. I want to go to Little Root Town. And I want this one to take us to the 3rd warp. We'll save that. I'll add a new one. And we'll kind of do the same thing here. This is the 3rd. And there we go. So if we double click on the first one, it takes us to this warp. We go back in. We can double click the second one. It takes us 3rd warp again. So this will all work. We pretty much simply created a new house that we can just go into. If we go back over to our VS Code, our Visual Studio Code, and we run the make, this will populate the files that we need, like the scripts.inc and all of that, and it'll do other stuff that's kind of necessary in the background. So I'm going to pause this and rework it when it gets made, and we can go check to see on the new house we made. So my changes were compiled. We're going to go check on the new house we just made. And we can walk out. We can kind of go over. We should be able to see we have this new house. We can enter, and we are inside this big new empty house, and our new map is implemented. If we look back out then into our files, we can go back. We are in our data and then layouts, and then if we find this Little Root Town House 3. We have a map and border. So we have all that. If I want to get rid of our layouts, we go back to the maps where our map scripts and stuff are. We go back, we see our Little Root Town, and now we have the House 3. This is new, and it has all of these, and it has our scripts file. It's just basic. We can make the scripts.pory like this, like we did for other scripts and all of that. So now we added a map to an existing map group layout. The next thing we want to do is to add kind of like a new town that has a new map section. So if we re-look back into this sort by area, there's this MAPSEC, Little Root Town, kind of all the different MAPSECs that we have. You can kind of look. You can actually see there are some Kanto stuff in here, but they're empty maps. They don't have anything in there. So those are just kind of placeholder MAPSECs, and then all the ones with maps in it are stuff that have it here. The first step we'll want to do is actually create the new MAPSEC that we want to do. So go back into our Visual Studio Code. And we'll want to go to this include constant region map sections.h. Here you can see kind of what we just saw. These are all the different map sections. So you have the Little Root Town that we were in before and all of that. You don't really want to touch this area. This defines the Kanto map section stuff. If we wanted to add a new one, you need to add it after this MAPSEC trainer hill. So we can add this new one, and I'm going to make a Oldale, or an East Oldale town. And this needs to be the 0xd5. This needs to be the 0xd6. So you just add on 1 to there. If you need to look at the hexadecimal script stuff, we can take a look. It goes 0, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, A, B, C, D, E, F. And that's how hexadecimal works. So that's just, if you need to look it up, easy enough to search hexadecimal code orders, like, oh, what comes after this. So this would be D6. Now we have that the new map section added, this East Oldale. I'm going to copy it just so I have it, and then I'm going to save. This will pop up another thing. Hey, your file has changed. Would you like to reload the project? I'm going to click yes. Warning, unsaved changes. Boom. It's loading on me, so now it's all good. Now what we'll need to do is actually add this into the region map and add a new space for this map section to be. If we actually look on our areas, we should be able to see we have an East Oldale map section thing there. So that's really nice. But if we go into our region map again, remember it's Tools, Region Map Editor, it's Controller Command M. I haven't done it for this one, but yes, I just use the default, and I want to go into Hoenn and click OK. I want to go to my map layout. I'm going to zoom in on this, and I'm going to add this one right to the east of Oldale. I want this to be East Oldale Town. This will be my map section right there. I'm actually going to my background image, and I'm going to call that one, and I'm going to add just one right there. And then I'm going to go to map entries. I want my East Oldale Town here. I'm going to add that because I want to add it to my map. We're going to go over where that map section was. The name I'm going to enter here. It'll be East Oldale Town. It's at the location. It's there. And I'm going to save that file. We're going to enter there. We're done with that. Next step I would always do is to run a make just to make sure those changes happened. Make sure the new MAPSEC is added, and it's added into your region map that you should be able to see in the game. Technically, if you were keeping this for the game, you should add the PokeNav map too, but if you already have a new region map made with this new town there, then you should already have that there. Everything should be set. You just need this new map section added. I'll let you go once this is all compiled, and we can double check it in our game. So now I'm double checking in the game just to make sure this new map section was added. I'm just going to go up, and hey, look, we have this new thing, and it should say, hey, look, East Oldale Town. Cool. That's all into our game. The next thing we're going to want to do is to go into this source map name pop-up. At the top, it'll go do all this. This is what pops up all like the names with the themes for when you enter the route, where it says like, oh, this is Route 101, this is Little Root Town. These are your different map themes. If we scroll down, that just says, hey, these are the graphics for it. And then this is where you can alter, if you don't want the Little Root Town to have the map theme wood, you want it to have some other map theme, you can change it. In my game, I have a couple of these where there's this, I know my Route 125, it's the theme underwater. I want it to be the basic, so I just changed that to the wood. Then you just have a different map pop-up theme. What you're going to do is go all the way to the bottom, adding this new one. Right under that Trainer Hill, we have our MAPSEC East Oldale Town that we made. And then it's going to be minus this since it's at the end. And I'm just going to do just this map theme pop-up wood. And you do need to put a comma after that last one. So this is all saved. This is all good. Now we can go back to our Porymap. You can either add it right here, just add to the new map area, or you can go back to the groups, and I'm going to add it to this new map group towns and routes. This is just going to be East Oldale Town is my name. That's just going to pop up. The type is going to be a town. Building, I don't want it to be building. I want it to be just general. It's going to be a really small town, 14 by 10. So let's change it to just 20 by 20. That's the original Oldale. I actually want it to be less. Let's make it a really tiny town, 10 by 10. We can always change that part later. I want it to be in this towns and routes. That'll be right there. Pretty good, perfect. And then the MAPSEC, we want it to be in the East Oldale Town. It's a town, and let's see, we can see, is there an Oldale? Let's give it the same music, Oldale. Yes, we want it to be able to fly to. Yes, we want to show location name. Yeah, we can allow running, we can allow biking. There's no need for digging and escape roping. We can accept. By adding this new town and the can fly, we do have a heal spot added already. In another video, I'll cover how to add heal spots to towns that are already there, or how to just work around it once you added this new town. So I'll deal with this heal spot in future videos. And I actually figured out where you can fly to just the routes. Like I can fly to Route 101 in this map. But here we go. We have just our really tiny little town. It does a whole lot of nothing. You don't really show much. So let's just go into here and add a Pokemon Center. We can add one here. And I'm going to actually look at the collision. And the collision's there. I want to be able to run behind there. I'll go to my events. It's actually 1, so I want to actually move my map 1 space over. So I'm going to actually hit the shift button. And I can shift it 1 space left. Everything works. You can see my events are there. And the collision is that I should probably add some trees here, or I'm going to actually change the dimensions, and let's make it 4 taller. We can see my events are still there. I actually didn't like how that changed, so I'm just going to move it back to 10. We're set here. The events are there. I'm going to save this. This new town is here. Don't like how this is working. Let's just put, where's the trees here? Here's a tree. It's going to be here. I actually want to do the brush and not the move. And that's going to hide weird. So let's just get rid of that. Our map's going to look a little funky with just this map section here. I'm going to actually change it to this one right here. So I'm going to change it all to there. And now we have just that type of background. From here, I can just make this all right here. And I can add a top one to the bottom here. And there's our little map there. And I'm going to actually want to add it to where we do. So I'm going to go to connections. I'm going to add a connection. and it's going to be to Oldale Town. I want Oldale Town to be the left of this, and I'm going to offset it to, let's say, right there, so we can just run to here. We're going to save. I'm going to pop over to the Oldale Town map and save just to make sure this is saved, kind of a double check. Then we can go back into our map. Everything should be good. So now we see we have an East Oldale Town. It's under our map groups. If we sort by layout, we have an East Oldale Town layout now. If we sort by area, we now have something under the East Oldale Town MAPSEC. I'm going to go back to group. That's how I like looking at it the best. But now all these are set. We should have this Pokemon Center built up right there. Just kind of have another town right next to it. Probably not going to help us much. But now we can go back to our Visual Studio Code and make the file. And then I'll be back and we can double check and see if this new map section and new town is in our game. All right, so the changes were made. So now we can go and check and see if this all worked in our game. We can just load back in. I am going to actually grab the FlyHM that I implemented here and grab the Rayquaza first before we get this. And we're going to go up to Route 101. Yeah, we got to sift through some encounters. Really should implement some repels for this game. But then we should be able to get up to our first Oldale Town. And then we can go to here. And now it says East Oldale Town when the map dropped up. This is something you got to play with a little bit more. Obviously, this is just a makeshift map. You got to kind of look at directions. I forgot to put collision tiles there. You can see we're in Oldale Town. I'll put it on slow. And here we're in East Oldale Town. We could add this Pokemon Center the same way we did with the Little Route one if we wanted to. But as you can see, we're here. I should be able to go back here. If I teach the Rayquaza Fly, we should potentially be able to fly to this. You might have to add some extra things to it, but we should fly. And let's fly to here. See, we can't fly to there yet. Technically, we could fly back home. But I didn't add the implementation for that. We'll go over being able to actually fly to the town, setting up the heal spots and all that in the next episode. But for right now, we added a whole new town map. If we really wanted to, we can go back to Porymap and generate this Pokemon Center. That's kind of what's going to be needed for the fly. But we can go in and see. We would go to sort by, you'd probably want to do sort by layout if you wanted to create a new Pokemon Center in here. And I would go up to the, let's see, where would it be? It's a lot to go for. You can also filter the maps. There's a search bar there. So I'm going to just look at Pokemon Center. Okay, here's Pokemon Center layout. And if I wanted to, I can do a new map with the layout. And I'd want it to be East Oldale Town. And then it'd be Poke Center. This is why having this open before helps. Pokemon Center 1 floor. So I'd want to add the new, we'd redo this, East Oldale Town, Pokemon Center 1 floor. This one, we'd want it to not be in towns and routes. This one we'd actually want to do indoor East Oldale. The map is here. The location is there. The music, we want it to be a Pokemon Center. I don't want all of these. We don't want to be able to fly into that room. But here we can, the map group is not there. So actually you can't do this one. So this one I'm just going to do, hey, it's going to be indoor Oldale. Good enough. It actually created the same layout. You can look at the events. We don't have any events. But if we go here, we should be able to add this new warp. And let's make it to just East Oldale Town, 0. New warp, East Oldale Town, 0. We'll go back to here. We can add our warp on this one. We're going to move it up 1. We're going to be East Old Dale Sound Pokemon Center 1 to warp 0. Save this. I'm going to go back in here, double check, save that again. And then now again, we can make it and go into the Pokemon Center. All right, so now I'm in Old Dale Town. We can go check out to make sure this Pokemon Center we made works. We're in our East Old Dale Town now, and we can go in. Here we go, we have this Pokemon Center. You can see we look, and it says we are in East Old Dale Town. To add all the other stuff for this, you can just re-look into Porymap. Right now we have no events. You can just look into this one. Okay, you'd want this, and you'd want to make an event script similar for your new East Old Dale one. You can add all the rest of the characters you want in there. It really shouldn't matter. But we have this new map. It works. You notice this warp, we don't have a warp right here, so you can't go upstairs. You'd probably want to make a second floor if you're making the Pokemon Center. Or you could just kind of get rid of this if you don't want a second floor. Don't really know why you would. In the next video, we'll kind of cover what else needs to be in the script for the Pokemon Center to be able to fly to make the blacking out to the heal spots, make all that stuff work. So stay tuned within the next week or so for the video on heal spots. And I hope you had a really nice time learning about creating new maps, whether it be new towns or new maps within towns today. Like again before, drop a like and subscribe, or leave a comment down below if there's another video or tutorial video you want to see. Yeah, have a nice day, guys.